So, good morning. Welcome to this doubt clearing seminar. Just one sec. Okay. ये किस चीज में ओपन किया है? एज में नहीं किया क्या? एज में करो ना ओपन. कहाँ है? Yes. Sorry for the disturbance. Yes. Good morning, Darshan. So now, as you might be already knowing, I hope I am audible to all of you. Please, those on YouTube, just respond so that I know that I am audible. Yes, Priya. Good morning. Let me know if I am audible or not. There would be a little delay, so obviously I would have to wait for your response. Okay. So as you people would be already knowing, this is orientation lecture. Obviously, it's not a first class for sure. It is a lecture as in how it is going to be, basic word philosophy and all stuff, and whatever your questions. It won't be more than 1.5 hours. Okay, 1 hour, it will be around 1 hour by me, and then if you have some doubts, we can take around. I'm saying take it forward as your questions are. Okay. So this is about philosophy foundation. Those, especially for those who are preparing for 2024, obviously. And as you know, this would be around 4 to 5 months. Not 5, 4.5. It would be over mostly, and all that. Okay. So let's go one by one to understand things. तो क्या हो रहा है? नहीं, वो इसका स्क्रीन चला जाएगा ना. हाँ, इसके दो है तो स्क्रीन ही चला जाएगा. ठीक है. नाउ इट्स ओके. So okay. Now, assuming that all of you have almost, or rather, decided to go for this optional, those who are on the YouTube also connected with us, and those who are here also. So for them, and most of you would be, as I said, already knowing also a little bit about this. What is philosophy? Now, there is a little difference here. Philosophy is which language word? English. Simple question. Start with simple question. So obviously it has a roots and basics in Latin and all, but that's, we are not bothered about it. So philosophy means basically, philo is, it's already written here, philo is love, affection, inclination, and sophy is wisdom. That's why you might have heard the word philanthropy. So philo is, anthro means human, anthropocentric, anthropogenic, anthropology, that is human. So philanthropic means somebody who has love for human. Sophy is wisdom. So any word made up of the word Sophy that you might have heard. Sophisticated. Sophisticated means a lot of intelligence is put into, then it becomes sophisticated. So Sophy means full of intelligence, full of knowledge. So here loosely, Sophy is wisdom or knowledge. Now wisdom comes after knowledge only. Okay. So जिसको हम normally बोलते हैं ना कि समझना, समझदारी, understanding and all. So that is Sophy. So philosophy means basically love for knowledge. Means who is a philosopher? who has love for knowledge. Now, somebody who has love for music, he will put maximum efforts to spend time in that particular aspect. Somebody has a lot of love for books, so he will spend a lot of time in reading. Somebody has love for cricket, watching, playing both, so she will put there. What does somebody who has love for wisdom, love for knowledge will do? Because knowledge is not some instrument where Yes, very good. So knowledge is everywhere, so his inclination and his love will be for everywhere. Means for everything. Means basically his inclination would be to know everything in the form of understanding. Now there are different ways of understanding that we'll see later. How complex understanding, simple understanding, and those stuff. But I'm saying anybody who is a philosopher. So why I'm saying this? Because otherwise philosopher is a very general term. Okay, somebody who wants to know, seeker of knowledge, seeker. So somebody who is a seeker of knowledge is a philosopher. Somebody who wants to know is a philosopher. Somebody who always wants to make it clearer to him or her is a philosopher. You can have a seat here. So no problem. So philosopher is somebody who want to know. But now, वैसे तो फिर every branch of knowledge, be it physics, chemistry, commerce, business management, engineering, medicine, everybody is trying to know. What's the difference between a student and a philosopher? Student also wants to know. Yes, so the awareness comes after you know things. See, student is also a philosopher or philosopher in making. Because generally, student, you might have heard this definition also, somebody who knows how to ask right questions is a philosopher. Somebody who asks question is a student. But somebody who can ask right question is a philosopher. So basically, in school, broadly, we are expected to learn to ask right questions. And right questions can only be asked when you have a prior knowledge. क्लास में भी होता है ना कि जो पढ़ के आते हैं उनके सवाल जेन्युइन रहते हैं, जो पढ़ के नहीं आते वो वही सवाल पूछते हैं जो कल पढ़ाया था. तो क्या मतलब रहा? Anyway, coming back to the point, that is somebody who wants to know. Now, as I already asked you, what is that you're going to know? Everything. So every knowledge is a part of philosophy. Can we say then every knowing, every knowledge is a branch of philosophy? Yes. In fact, that has been historically also. So that's why it is called mother of all sciences, mother of all knowledge. Why? Because it's simple, no? Just imagine a situation, maybe around 10,000, 15,000 years before. You are a hunter-gatherer group. History पढ़ रहे होंगे, थोड़ा Paleolithic and prehistoric period and all that पढ़ रहे होंगे. नहीं भी पढ़ रहे होंगे तो पढ़ लोगे कहीं इधर उधर से. आप जा रहे हो ग्रुप में और आप में से कोई मर गया. क्यों मर गया वो छोड़ो, मर गया, ऐसे लेट गया, उठ ही नहीं रहे, आप रुके रहे वहां पे 5 घंटे, उठ ही नहीं रहे. आपको कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा ना कि मरना क्या है. So automatically the question starts, and it happens with animals also. They'll start pushing the person, trying to wake him up and things like that, assuming that something wrong is happening. I want to know what has happened. So I want to know dash what has happened, who did this and all. I want to know dash. Philosophy started, because this questioning is philosophy. But now, though somebody initially talked about life, death, how things change, cause, effect, everything in the world, दूध का दही कैसे बनता है, वो जिसने बताया वो भी philosopher था एक जमाने. Somebody who could give medicine is also philosopher. Somebody who can cure you by the some medicine, jadi booty type, he is also philosopher. Now, in Indian context, the word philosopher is not used. In Indian, the word for philosophy is generally used darshan. The connotation is different, वो हम बाद में देखेंगे कि why here it is philosophy and why it is darshan, because darshan includes intellectual as well as realizational aspect. दर्शन देखना खूबी, वो उसे बाद में देखेंगे, ठीक. सो स्ट्रॉन्ग लव मतलब वो तो पता है, स्ट्रॉन्ग डिजायर फॉर पर्टिकुलर थिंग, तो ऐसे ही है. राइट एंड यूजफुल मीनिंगफुल एप्लीकेशन ऑफ नॉलेज, ठीक है. लव फॉर विजडम हो गया, ये देख लिया. फिलोसोफर वन हु ऑलवेज ट्राइज टू नो एंड अंडरस्टैंड्स एक्सपीरियंस, मतलब ऑलवेज ट्राई टू ईदर नो, अंडरस्टैंड और एक्सपीरियंस इट. इंडियन कंटेक्स्ट में फिलोसोफर सिर्फ नॉलेज पे नहीं रुकता. इन इंडियन कंटेक्स्ट फिलोसोफर डजंट स्टॉप एट नॉलेज एट ऑल ओनली. He will further go and try to experience that thing also. Right? Now, that's why mother of all streams and all. So, somebody who wants to know is a philosopher. So, we are next 4-5 months going to know. Now, but the only thing is now, before you becoming philosopher, you have to read the established philosophies. As simple as that. Before you want to become a very good batsman, obviously you will first learn technically if you are interested. If you are just interested as a proud citizen of India who likes to watch Sachin Tendulkar, that's another story. But somebody who wants to learn batting will learn each and every shot of Sachin Tendulkar, or maybe Sunil Gavaskar, or maybe Virat Kohli later, like that. So established philosophers you have to read first. But the interesting thing is reading that itself is also philosophy, because they have not talked about something which is out of the blue. So here the first thing for next 4 months, or at least till you are going to get selected, you should not get carried away by the attraction of creating your own philosophy. Why? That's not easy to happen also. Because every next philosopher you'll read, you'll like, I was thinking this already, but he has already thought of 5 minutes before. So most of the philosophers, see, these are established philosophers. They have already told everything that can come to your mind. That can come to your mind. Most likely it won't come. Number one. Number two, in fact, the so-called philosophy that you would be coming up next month maybe, or 1 month down the line, is nothing but just restructuring of the philosophy that you already read, maybe of Shankaracharya's philosophy or Buddha's philosophy. So nothing out of the blue will come, because it takes a lot of different level of intelligence and experience to come up with something really new. So we are here just to kind of learn what the philosophers have told before and how philosophers have explained their philosophy. So they have their terms and things like that. The only thing is, because it is about philosophy, it becomes very, very basic, and we'll go through it as to, if everything is philosophy, then why doctor is not called philosopher, why physician is not called philosopher, and all that, engineer called philosopher. Okay. Yes, one more interesting thing, mostly we discuss, but what's the why philosophy? As in, see, when we ask why, when we ask what, the context, the desired answer is description. When we ask why, the answer is no, purpose. See, when I say what is this, so you will explain, that is description. But when I ask you why this, if somebody asks you after 1 year, what is UPSC, ये description, इतने पेपर होते हैं, there are 2-3 exams, ये वो. And if the same person asks you why UPSC, then you have to tell the purpose, the benefits, this and that of UPSC. Like that. Why philosophy? Now, why to whom? In general question, why philosophy की जरूरत ही क्या है समाज को? What's the use? Like, why medicine? We know we want to cure people who are having some disease or some illness. Why engineering? Because we want to build bridges. Even if they collapse, even after spending 1,700 crore, that's another story. समझ में आया कुछ नहीं? ओके, अच्छी बात है. वो बिहार पटना में गिरा था ना, बिहार में, इसलिए. Anyway, so point is, वो why this particular philosophy and what is its use? And this question, mind you, is going to be asked in your very typical friendly come rivalry debates in old Rajendra Nagar or otherwise also. What is there in philosophy? What do you study? What is God, soul and all like that? They are not wrong, but they are not right either. And this statement only can come from philosopher. Otherwise, the other optional person will start defending immediately. No, we teach this and that. Philosophy is like we are not here to debate because your so-called rules or debates are formed by us. Formal logic is formed by philosophers. How to debate is formed by philosophers. What do you mean by knowledge is also established by philosophers. You say you get knowledge of this or that or this. Okay, I know the chair is blue. I know that outside is raining. Okay, I know that it's day. I know that Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister of India. When you say I know, you say that your knowledge is over. Okay, but philosopher will ask you, what do you mean when you say I know? If I say I know the horse with wings and I have sat on it, आप क्या बोलेंगे? What would you say? What are you talking about rubbish? On what basis you said that it is rubbish? So it's not possible. On what basis you are saying that knowledge of winged horse not possible? Because now these questions, if you ask, the other person generally will say, what do you mean by, on what basis? It's simple that nobody have seen a horse with wing unless in imagination. Okay, that means you are saying Pratyaksha is only Praman for me. Show me a horse with wings, I will believe. Or tell me that some scientist, means some authoritarian text have told you, Shabda. Or prove me with some logic at least that it is possible. Otherwise, why would you believe? That means you are establishing methods of knowing. Right? The first method of knowing that show me, I will believe, Pratyaksha Praman. In Indian, perception in general word, English. If it is written somewhere and I have a strong belief that it is true, it is called testimony. Is also a valid source of knowledge. Whatever written in Gita is true for me, that's all, it's truth. Because like when Einstein says that there is Higgs boson, have you seen Higgs boson? Have you felt it? Have you experienced it? No. So why would you believe? No, he's an authority. Okay, that's what we are talking about. Those you consider authority, you will believe, and that is true for you. Black hole kabhi dekha hai? Have you seen black hole? No. So why do you think it is existing? Stephen Hawking told. So Shabd is also valid Praman. Like that. So, but the point is to establish these different types of sources of knowledge which are valid. This is also part of philosophy. Like somebody may ask you, somebody who is having some other optional or some other topic, we do surveys, we ask people and they will give their opinion. Okay, who told you that whatever survey shows is true? No, but it is clearly like, 98% people are saying, okay, on what basis you are saying that 90% is more than 2%? It's like, it is common sense only. It's not common sense. Because you never know, the 2% are actually honest and 98% are actually lying. You never know. Right? So, 98% Germans were saying that killing Jews is right thing to do. Maybe there would be 3-4%, 2%, whatever. Now tell me who is right. So these analysis of what is right, what is wrong at first place. But right, wrong, not as in moral sense. I'm saying true, false. In that context, right and wrong is also discussed by philosophers. So philosopher gives method of thinking to you. This formal logic concept, basically made famous by Aristotle, is exactly what everybody uses. Even highest order scientists also somewhere use this logic only. Okay. So yes, why philosophy? Broadly we discuss, but points. Natural disposition of man to know. Now here, generally in philosophy, the word man includes woman also. We try to use human most of the places, but some quotes are written that time. And that person also, when they meant man, they actually meant all. In Indian philosophy, there is a parallel word like this man. You know, you might have heard this word many times. Purush. So when we say Purushartha, it's not only for Purush, it is for everybody. Okay. Male, female, and others, everybody. Any human being is that way. Okay. So natural disposition of man to know means philosophy क्या है? वो इतना natural है. Everybody wants to know. Only time when we don't want to know is when we are busy. And when we are busy means we are occupied by something. That means whenever you are at ease, you are at peace, you will always want to know things. Only problem nowadays is we have deliberately kept ourselves busy in earning money or whatever, so much so that we don't know so many things just around us. That is the drawback of these times, but that's okay. You're getting my point. Unless you are at peace, that's why to know also new things, even to study, to read books, you need peaceful mind. Mostly in the morning or mostly in the late night when everybody slept and perhaps no mobile is going to be calling you, then only we can study better. Why? Mind it as peace. So whenever mind is at ultimate peace, knowledge is ultimate. That's exactly what happens in Indian philosophy. So our whole efforts by Patanjali Yoga, Buddhism, Nirvana, and everybody is to calm down the mind at such a stable level that anything that happens is part of the knowledge for you. Okay, so it's a natural disposition. As I said, only except you stop yourself from, keep yourself busy somewhere else. When your mind is at peace, not occupied by something, automatically tries to know. So philosophy is not devised by or constructed by human beings or some academicians, professors, intellectuals in university. No. Every person who has peace in life is a philosopher. Now, level of philosophy would be different. Now, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. If the person in the village somewhere, some farmer, somebody who has not gone to school knows 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, isn't he mathematician in that way? If he says 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 and if he asks, okay, what is 3 plus 1? He says that is also 4. He's a mathematician in that aspect. To that level I am saying. So because everybody has a natural disposition to know, everybody is a philosopher. Only thing is, Kavita, there's a poem. Everybody can write some of the other 2 lines, 3 lines. Everybody can sing. May not be like Arjit Singh, but we can sing at least whatever like us. So they are experts in that field, but we are also, so everybody is a philosopher. So philosophy, and I certainly after studying this, the typical image that most of you might have about philosophy being, very technical and all that will reduce. It is technical. Hamare exam ke liye, for our examination, it has to be technical. Some aspect, some is very general. So be relaxed. So it is natural disposition. Fundamental questions of life. See, generally I say this because whenever we do the scheduled discussions, as long as there is death, there is philosophy. Philosophy is not going to die because nobody is going to give a full question to the answer of death. And death is not just a question, it's such a pressing question. However relaxed in your life you might be, you just finished your graduation and you are doing job and this and that, and suddenly COVID comes and somebody very close to you dies. From that onwards, the person is no more same. He or she will reconstruct and all. I'm not talking about psychology. Psychologically feeling bad, feeling the lacuna, feeling the want of that person, or feeling the going away of that particular person. That's there. But the perspective towards everything outside also changes. It has to change. Why? Because when things happen very close to you, the impact is highest. That's why it is said that when in Africa, when he himself was thrown away from the train and forced to sit in the general, then he realized that this is discrimination. You understood what I'm talking about. Otherwise, he knew what is happening. He was not new. Dadabhai Naoroji and everybody were trying like anything. So many, 1857 already happened before his birth. so much of fight happened, so much of exploitation happening in front of him. Still, it took, his own 45 years to realize that I have to do something. When he came back to India, he was 45 years. Almost crossed everything of his typical prime. So point is, and that he himself agreed, that when it happens to very close to you, then you get moved. Now, as I already said, it's not about the emotional aspect I'm talking about, it's about your perspective about life, because as long as there is death, there is philosophy and there is spirituality. Because as long as there is philosophy in typical Western sense is never going to give any answers. They'll keep debating the questions. Answer, you come back to Indian. They ask you, okay, your questions, it's okay, all okay, sit down. Okay, close your eyes and relax. All the ashrams, and I'm taking positive, I'm just ignoring the negative aspects of it, that is also there. But forget about it. Majority of them are doing positive work, because most of the ashrams we don't even know, even today. Remote places. And they are running really, doing their own good job, spiritual development, whatever. We may not know it. Anyway, we'll discuss that later during Indian philosophy. So the point is, fundamental question of life, because as long as we have sense of identity, that I am there, my death is not a small thing to happen. It may happen anytime. I am not saying it should happen tomorrow or anybody. Everybody should live whatever possible time that they have, as long as they keep their body in a proper shape. But I am saying that reality, that fact that it is going to be there, is not easy. So some people take it seriously immediately. Some people start taking it seriously when they think that their social responsibility is over. That is, their children is also married and their grandchildren are enjoying their life. Now I have to think about God. Generally we say, sannyas ashram, after 60, bhajan kariye, after 60, kirtan kariye, like that. But that's a system that people develop. But the question is always there. That's why this particular question very disturbed very intensely when they were very young. They got liberated. Most of them got liberated, because now they are moved by the concept, and they have the physical strength also to work for that. Be it Buddha, Mahavir, Shankaracharya, and all other spiritual people. Nobody is beyond 60. They are like 20, 30, like that. Why? Because you can work for it. Anyway, point is, as long as there are fundamental questions will be answered by me. Mother of all knowledge, I already told you. So one thing. Now, one important aspect. Then as I had already asked you, is physics also part of philosophy? So, is that going to be our part of our syllabus? Okay, Newton's law likho. Why? Because what happened, initially it is always crude. Like primary, basic. Okay, everybody who wants to know, Aristotle is sitting and giving gyan on everything. And he went wrong also many places. He had declared that women have lesser number of teeth than men. He has declared it. And there are many wrong things also, wrong in the sense, later proven wrong. But he applied his logic and he did not go and count some female, okay, tell me how many teeth you are. So point is, that was a mistake. But point is, he started telling about the truth about the world. Like, every year around these months, rain comes. This year rain is not coming. What happened? Nobody knows. People started saying that some, God would have been angry or something of that sort. But philosopher would try to explain on the basis of instrument that she has observed, and then link and infer and then tell that no, because of, we had cyclone or something, Usame, whatever name it would be. Because of that, these clouds might have gone. Because every time I have seen, whenever the clouds become black, only we'll get rain. Have you observed this? Like that they would have discussed before. These are all philosophers. Otherwise, everybody is like, barish aa gayi, bas, they'll start doing plowing and everything, and they'll wait for harvest to come. Point is, somebody who can actually observe more than other people. But what happened is, all these branches become very technical slowly, nuances increased. Now, physics, then molecular physics, and then atomic physics, and then subatomic particle, and then quantum physics. Abhi quantum physics you cannot connect with philosophy. Philosophy is like, world is made up of small things called atoms. That's all. Now atoms have subatoms. Atom means smallest part, is what we meant. Now if you want to call subatomic particle atom, that's your problem. We are saying everything is made up of smaller than itself. And something partless. Basically atom means something that is partless, that cannot be broken. Now you named something atom, scientist fellows, you physics fellows, and you only broken it. We never said that this is atom. We said anything that is partless, that is atom. So, baat to sahi hai. But that direction itself was given by philosophers before, because this atomic theory is long back. Democritus gave this theory in Western, and who gave in our? Maharshi Kanath gave, correct, Vaisheshik philosophy. Vaisheshik philosophy is given by Maharshi Kanath. So, point is, when all the knowledge is knowledge, but when it got specialized, newer instrument, small nuances, it becomes separate faculty, separate department. But even today, if you become engineer, if you're really interested in particular IC engine now nobody should be interested in IC engine. Why I'm saying this? We are not going to use it coming days. Everything is E now. IC engine is not required when it is electric vehicle. Why we need IC engine, right? But for sake of understanding, okay, molecular physics. So somebody went into that molecular physics. Somebody went into that in-depth understanding of what it is. Philosophy, what we can say, the nuanced aspect of that particular thing. Philosophy, on the other hand, remained in the basic things. We will see what is detailed, what is basically philosophy today. So point is, even somebody has done graduation, after that they will do specialized studies, that is masters. After that, what would they do? PhD in economy, for example. What is the meaning of that? Doctor of philosophy of economy. Now what is philosophy of economy? Philosophy of history. History of philosophy nahi. History of philosophy is simple. Pehle kaun aaya, baad mein kaun aaya. First there was Shankaracharya, then Madhvacharya. Before that, Buddha in 563 BC. That is history of philosophy. We are talking about philosophy of history. Philosophy of science. Basic means, if you go in depth, if you go more basic, in any branch if you start, if you go more basic, you'll reach philosophy. So it's like this. So philosophy, for understanding, no need to make any notes on it. Like that, everything started. So philosophy is the converging point one. These are like detailed studies. This is like molecular physics. This is quantum physics. Okay, this is some other conventional physics, something like that. Inorganic chemistry, organic, everything. If you go in basics of it, you'll reach philosophy. That's why even today, however people in general say philosophy to aisa hai waisa hai, jo bhi unka perception ho, because what I have understood of late, almost disregard for especially about from millennials, disregard for anything philosophical, because anything in depth they don't have patience. 8 minutes now attention span. You put, you send any millennial 45 minutes video, he or she will never watch it. Itna kaun dekhega? Attention span less means less patience, means less depth, horizontal. That's exactly happened with, and not just philosophy, any in-depth topics. Nobody is interested. People are interested just on, you see, the best observation in this context is so-called entertainment videos now. They have reduced their length a lot. Shorts are more famous than videos now. Within 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you will start and finish the story in 5 seconds. Because we don't want to see the 33 episode story. Still, there are people who have interest in seasons and things like that. But I'm saying millennials especially, like, itna lamba kaun dekhega? So that is because the regard for the depth is coming down. But ultimately, if you really want to put your brain into anything, your efforts into anything, you will reach to philosophy of that thing. Okay, so that is the context of philosophy. Now, mother of all knowledge, we already seen. Reality versus appearance. Now, this is very important. This we will keep on studying for next 4 months, especially next 2.5 months, till the time we are doing our first paper. What is reality? Generally, we say that we are searching for reality. No, what is real, what is not real, like that. But what do you mean by real? Like if I say, if this chair is actually not really just collection of atoms in a particular form, isn't it a true statement? Or I have a pot made of a clay. So I say, pot is nothing, just this small particles of clay or soil, sand, whatever. They have been put together and roasted. You call it clay pot, but it's actually clay put together in a particular format. So in this context, we'll say it's actually really it is clay only. It's not pot, right? That's how we generally go. That's another story, that clay itself is not real, then atom and all. That's another story. But what are we actually doing when we say it is real? From the perception of which is yes, almost there, which is not appearance. They say, normally we say, in Hindi we say, अरे वो वैसा दिख रहा है वैसा नहीं है, really में वो ऐसा है. Means what? दिखावे पे मत जाओ, अपनी अकल लगाओ. Normally कोई ऐड है. So don't get deluged by appearance. Don't get carried away by appearance. Appearance can be anything, reality can be something else. Now, whenever we use the word reality, we always use that word in the context of something that is not real, or something that seems to be something that is appearing and seems to be what it is now, but it is not. Then only the whole concept of reality comes into. Briefly understand karo, because this is a syllabus point proper. The word real is used so many times the whole of UPSC philosophy optional, philosophy syllabus. So something that is not appearance is real, right? Like if you're going in the desert. Now what happens in the desert? There is no, obviously nothing, no tree, nothing, all sand. But still you can clearly see that there is water. But actually if you go close, you know that there is no water. It looks like very clearly it looks like water. But it is not. So till the time you went close and confirmed that it is not water, it was water for you. But when you reach close, you realize the reality to kuch aur hi hai. You know, reality is something else, that there is no water. So that's the whole fight and struggle and debate in Indian or Western whole across the syllabus. Appearance kya hai? Reality kya hai? Like that. Okay. Then, and why it is part of the answer to why philosophy, because in life also we have to be very clear what is real and what is appearance. And always there is, okay, if you know this is real and this is appearance, which would you go for? Why? That is also a question. Because anything long term has to be real. Because appearance means it is there today, it will not be there tomorrow. But the point is nowadays, because of the social media, appearance is more important than real. You should appear as if you are a best actor or good actor. You may not be a good actor basically, but that's 21st, 3rd, but that is also temporary, because like appearance, the inclination for appearance is also going to be temporary. Don't worry. People will understand the reality is always reality. Philosophy gives you analytical ability. Like, see, what did we do? We reached philosophy only after questioning all the time. Now, whatever we discussed, if you remember, I have been questioning only. Why this and why not this? So, your analytical ability, like not assuming anything ununderstood increases automatically, because your practice is like that. All the time you question, you even question that this chair is there. Okay, explain me how this chair is there. In what way we can say that the chair is there? Like that. Logical stamina. Exactly. If somebody asks you that, okay, let's assume that chair doesn't exist. Can you even be patient enough to wait for 1 minute to listen next statement? You're like, yeah, why? So the point is, you don't want to question your prejudice or your notions, preconceived notions. Right or wrong, I'm not worried about. It might be right notion, right or wrong notion. But preconceived notions, if you're not allowing it to question, so you're not going to grow. So you'll assume whatever is told to you by your parents and all, religion, everything, your state and everything, and you'll just agree. So your logical stamina means, unless you reach the logical end, you're not going to go for shortcut. That, leave it, yeah, I don't know the answer, just assume this is the answer. Like this happened in this year's, would have happened to many students this year's CSAT. They tried to write the answer, and unfortunately it was too tough. And I have all the sympathies with the student, because those who sincerely prepared also having unnecessary problems. That's another story. A lot of things are happening. We don't know what is going to be next year. Considering UPSC, Baki, in all other things, they are so unpredictable, but I'm sure they will be consistent in torturing students next year also, because it has been consistently increasing. So December onwards, we'll discuss that we have to focus on CSAT. Anyway, my point is, you're trying to solve the thing. Now, it's very logically connected. After this, assume that, assume this. After that, it's like, anyway, I don't have time. So just tick B and go ahead. That is lack of logical stamina. You just conclude something on the basis of half-hearted logical efforts. And this happens in our life also. Itna kaun sochega, chodo, dekha jayega. Lack of logical stamina. That lack of logical stamina creates many problems in our life also. So that somewhere, efforts to improve is a byproduct. Critical thinking, you already know. I know no need to explain. Critical means somebody is saying X is Y. Your starting point is, okay, what if X is not Y? Critical thinking. You're not criticizing, you're not negating, you're not rejecting it. You're just like, okay, but just assume it. If it is not, then, and bigger picture. Now, bigger picture is, this automatically happens because if you start pondering upon, thinking upon fundamental questions of life, every decision that you take in life will come from the bigger picture. Okay, this bigger picture you'll understand anyway. The classic explanation for that is what big people, Babas will talk about the big people only. We normally say philosophers also. Life is this. Like, for example, see, Adi Shankaracharya said this, the big philosopher, greatest philosopher that India has produced. The world, like a dream full of attachments and aversions, seems real until the awakening. Is such a tempting, logically tempting, such a consistent theory that they have given. Simple questions, no big philosophy. When you were sleeping yesterday night, the day before that, you have been sleeping mostly. Whenever you sleep, you see a dream. Now after getting up, we call it dream. Otherwise, isn't it reality for you for that whatever hours? No, actually objective hours according to your clock would be 6, 7. But 3, 4 days you will live in that. And how real it is when you actually watching it? How is the feeling? How strong is the feeling that, okay, even there is a trace of question that this might not be true in dream. When you are dreaming, I am just telling you Shankaracharya's basic philosophy, Advait philosophy, syllabus ka point hai wo. And it's very, very interesting in this context if you see from this point of view. When you dream, it is as good as reality. Not even a slightest question, yes or no? Anybody having some doubts while dreaming inside it? Haath upar karo. Because somebody who can raise hand, then they have to visit psychiatrist. Kuch to gadbad hai. Yes, it doesn't happen for any normal human being. नहीं, उठने के बाद पता चलता है कि सपना देख रहे हैं। ऐसे कभी नहीं हो सकता। देन इट इज नॉट सपना, यू आर हाफ स्लीपिंग, फुल स्लीप। No, you ask, that's the thing I'm saying. When you actually sleep, and mostly to understand, sleep proper होनी चाहिए ना, deep sleep. Non dream only sleep नहीं, dreamless sleep नहीं. Sleep when you are comfortably sleeping and you are sometimes dream becomes so vivid and so clear that when you get up, you are so shocked. What was I that? Like, what was happening just 5 minutes before? Oh, thank God I am like this. And everybody would have that this thing. Now, only thing is, what is the guarantee that this is not dream? Lucid dreaming तो वो psychological concept है. Dreaming ही होता है basically. वो कितना depth है वो तो depends on your situation. Now, yeah, half sleep is a different thing I'm saying, but normally whenever we see sleep and when you are seeing dream, inside the dream it is clearly the reality for you. As long as you are in dream, it is real. The moment you get up from the sleep, wake up from the sleep, then you say that it was a dream. If it is positive, you are like, अरे यार इतना बढ़िया चल रहा था, मस्त केक खा रहा था, कुछ कर रहा, सब मुझे celebrate, everybody was celebrating my success, something like that, and I was like, होता है ना daydreaming types. और नेगेटिव कुछ हो कि नहीं, सब मेंस का पेपर था, पहुंच नहीं पाया, इस टाइप का भी ड्रीम आते लोगों को. इंटरव्यू था एंड आई कुड नॉट रीच द यूपीएससी दिस थिंग एंड 0 मार्क्स आ गए, समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो उससे उठ गया, थैंक गॉड अभी तक प्री नहीं हुआ है, तो इंटरव्यू की तो बात ही ना दूर है. सो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज, व्हेन यू वेक अप फ्रॉम द ड्रीम, that particular thing, your experience, you call it dream and you disown it. तो ड्रीम था, मैं थोड़ी हूं. Exactly what happens when you awaken from this dream to the transcendental state. So there is this dream state. From dream to wake up, you wake up into the empirical state, this state, waking stage, and from waking stage you awaken to the transcendental stage. Now when you awaken to the transcendental stage, automatically this thing is clearly a dream for you. They will say, how can you say dream, sir? This is like, I'm living every day, so much of pain, so much of pleasure, everything is there. That is because you are inside it. For that, you have to awaken yourself. And almost all the Indian philosophies will talk in this particular context later on. Buddhism also, but in different wordings, different connotations. So this, when you wake up from this only, you realize that this was a dream, right? The world, that's why he is saying the world, that is this world, like a dream, full of attachments and aversions. Attachment, aversions means liking, disliking. Seems real until the awakening. Right? Making sense? This is part of this as it is statement can be questioned, because this is part of the syllabus. Because now this is directly part of life also, because philosophy is part of life, and especially Indian philosophy. Though some places it is technical, but it is very connecting also. You can clearly see the application. Yes, sahi bol rahe hain, right? Yes. Now, slowly we are coming close to our stuff. Now, we discussed about physics, chemistry, biology, commerce, everything part of the philosophy. This logy, that logy, everything that we study is philosophy. But now, what happened, as I said, every other department specialized with nuanced instruments, new instrument and all that. They specialized and separated themselves from the mother. Now what happened? The mother said, no problem. The basics of everything we will decide anyway. Because even if you are a molecular biologist, if you want to say something, would you say something countering the laws of logic? Can you say something? Like you will say that A plus A is equal to B. A is equal to B and B is not equal to C, yes, that means A is equal to C. Would you say that? We'll never say that. All your presentation, all your explanation, everything would be in the form of mathematics. Mathematics is what? Quantitative depiction of logic. That's why in CSAT also, what is the syllabus point? Quantitative reasoning. They are not going to ask you integration, derivation and that stuff. It is reasoning only, but quantitative reasoning. Like logical reasoning and quantitative reasoning, they will just make it different. Logical means this word, you might have seen the questions. So basically what I am saying is, you will never define the logic. Even if you, whatever instrument, whatever branch you might be expert of, you will never define logic. You will never propagate something which is not ethical. But anyway, these two are later developments and never to be completely separated by the philosophy. Ethics almost taken away by religion. Aesthetics also almost taken away by many, what it is called. Psychological aspect also, psychology also nowadays takes into account of what is ethics. Aesthetics means what is the concept of beauty, okay. But in our syllabus, basically these two fellows are most important. The most, and this as an instrument to express these two. Now, only briefly I will tell you, and as we already discussed, the same thing I will just reformulate and tell you. What is metaphysics? I already tell you, theory of reality. Means, what is my theory of reality? Like Darwin gave his theory of evolution, right? The theory of Einstein gave his theory of relativity. Karl Marx gave his theory of struggle. These are theories. Now, what is theory then? Theory means the things put together in a logical concept, sequence, logical connections. It cannot be illegal. Then it won't be theory. If you start with something, it has to be it has to be logically deduced to something in the form of some theory. You cannot say one place somewhere else and suddenly contradict yourself. Then the law of contradiction of logic is violated. Law of non-contradiction basically. So, like that, theory of reality means I see things from this point of view. Pluralism means everything is made up of so many other things. It's my basic law. So everything, break it down. So made up of what? So many things which are partless in themselves. So atomism concept. So there are different material atomism, spiritual atomism, different connotations are there. So basically, atomism, pluralism. Somebody says the whole world is made up of only two things. Like we also normally say, Newton also said this. Whole world is made up of only two things. Engineer कौन है? कोई भी नहीं engineer है. Who all are engineer here? Yes? नहीं. आपका क्या graduation है? Oh, economics. आपका? आपका तो अलग ही है. Journalism. Okay. So why I'm asking is, Newton said the whole world is made up of two things, energy and matter. And law of conservation of energy plus matter. Energy plus matter can neither be created nor be destroyed. Energy can one energy can transform into matter or other energy and vice versa. So basically he explained in a dualism. There are only two distinct things. Now these distinct things, why didn't he say that everything is made up of energy? Some energy which closely associated, compact energy is called matter and loose energy is called energy. He could have said that. But he said no, these are two distinct, independent entities. Dualism. So his theory of reality, I am just taking example. His theory of physics and all is all very extended version of his all physics and all. I am saying his theory of reality means reality is true. Now then somebody comes and tells you Even these two is also made up of only one thing. This matter, this energy, everything is made up of one thing, and that one thing is Brahm. Now, Brahm, don't get confused with the religious connotation that word has in India. Bra means, this is Brahat, Brahat Mumbai, Brahat Bangalore. The word is there. Brahat means the bigger one, larger, largest, expanding. So Brahm is something is like everything is, the Sanskrit word is Brah. Aham means consciousness. So basically, ever expanding, all inclusive consciousness is the meaning of the word. But normally Brahm means we are like Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Immediately, the religious connotation gets into picture, and you are like, this is assuming, everything is Brahm. Everything is Brahm. Brahm means, as I said, universal consciousness. Now, when we say universal consciousness, we are like, okay, English में है तो थोड़ा सा secular लगता है, Brahm थोड़ा सा non-secular, but ऐसा नहीं है. The word Sanskrit Brahm means universal consciousness. So somebody says, this Brahm is the only reality. Then what would you do? So everything else is flowing down. This chair, okay, from where this chair come then? From where this person come? From where the soul in this person? Everything is connected to Brahm. They will give their detailed theory, how and all. This is called monism. Pluralism, atomism, monism. This ism word is used in philosophy a lot, because all isms only. So this philosophy was given by Shankaracharya. I mean, not given by him, the part of Upanishads and Brahma Sutra. So Advaita philosophy. Advaita means no Dvait. Non-dualistic means monism. So like that, everybody will give their metaphysics. Then what is soul? What is matter? What is mind? What is world? Like that, 3-4 questions only they will discuss. Otherwise, what is chair and what is table is not a different question. Question is, what is matter? Now, what is Ram? What is Shyam? Okay, what is Siddhant? What is Navasharan? That what is human being? Then everybody, both are human beings, so anyway given. So like that, they will give 3-4, like what is world? World of things. What is soul? What is God? This is metaphysics, talks about these 3 things basically, which includes world also, not just God. Okay, because everything else is connected, then part of it. Now, point is, you reach to your theory of reality on the basis of what process of knowledge? Because what happens, these are not just physical knowledge that we talk about. I could see the chair, so chair is there. I could see that it is blue, the chair is blue for me. But if I am jaundiced, the chair will be yellowish blue for me. Yes or no? Everybody will agree. So it depends on my apparatus of receiving knowledge. इतना तो समझ में आ रहा है. Now, define your apparatus first, not psychologically, philosophically. We say, as a philosophy, epistemology means, okay, first assume that our knowledge is apparatus dependent, apparatus colored. Yes, that is correct. So all knowledge, so basically now you have to be very clear while using the statement about your knowledge, knowing fully well that what is knowledge, what is not knowledge. So what are the process of knowledge that you will agree about? What are the process of knowledge that you will never agree about? Why particularly so-called knowledge, instead of knowledge, some error happens. We think that there is a snake, but if you go close, we say that it was just a rope. It was just moving in such a way that it was snake. Some from far distance, you could see some person, person X, my friend is coming. If you go close, he's like, no, it's not person X, somebody else. From long distance, you see some dog coming. If you go close, you realize, oh, it's a very small, not dog, small cow. So the point is, when something appears to you and something which is real. So when appears to you is appearing because of some apparatus, that apparatus we need to discard. Because I have a jaundiced eyes, I could see everything yellow. That's my problem. I have to remove that yellowness and then try to see through things, what it is actually really. So basically, this process where knowledge itself is discussed. Okay, on what basis would you say that this is true? I have seen my own eyes. Okay, so you are saying Pratyaksha is the thing. Okay, on what basis you are saying this? No, XYZ, Einstein said in his book this. You are agreeing to Shabd Praman. Like that, there are different ways, different processes, different sources of knowledge. So basically, a knowledge of what? Reality. So basically, and by the way, paper 1 completely is only these two. Some part of this, not much, but these two basically. All the thinkers, you take Kant, you take Russell, you take Shankaracharya, everybody is, what is the metaphysics, what is the epistemology, what is the metaphysics, what is their reality, theory of reality, what is their theory of knowledge. That's all the syllabus is, right? कुछ doubt इसमें? Yes, they are heavily connected. It's like this. On the basis of my color of my chashma, my reality will be. So epistemology would be having some set of characteristics, will be automatically reflected in metaphysics. Right? Like simple example, जो पहले परसों के लेक्चर का पहला एग्जाम्पल होगा. Charvak says that Pratyaksha is the only valid source for me. That is, whatever I can see my eye through my eyes is only real for me. That means that is called Pratyaksha, the perception only is the epistemology of Charvak. Then automatically matter is the only reality then. If you are going to believe or you are going to assume only things seen by your own eyes and heard by your ear and tasted and all that, only five Gyanendriyas. If that is the only reality, means material is the only reality for you. What else would be reality then? Nothing. You cannot imagine any reality. You cannot infer any reality. You cannot logically deduce any reality. No, जो दिख नहीं रहा है वो नहीं है. So automatically what happens? If perception is the only praman, matter is the only reality. Like that they are connected, right? चारवाक easy था इसलिए बता दिया. Now this broadly most of you would be already knowing. That's why you are here. Why philosophy is optional? It is actually interesting. If you initial, this lack of patience generally people have, if you can get rid of that, you can reach immediately there. Shortest syllabus, everybody knows that. Less uncertainty. At least 3 to 4 questions, at least I am saying. 3 to 4 questions were directly as it is from PY. Because syllabus this much only. Okay, only this much philosophy syllabus. That's why. Consistent results every time on the results keep changing on the basis of how many people go for it. But like this year also, I think how is all India rank 17. So he has got the highest marks in optional in first 10. First 10 toppers, he has got 319 in philosophy, and he is the topper of the top 10. There is another person who got 223 or something, some other optional, some other rank. But first top people, first 20 toppers, he has got basically more optional marks than any topper, more than him, better than him. So that much is possible, and people are getting in general like 270, 280 also. If you see, there is a simple thing. If you revise it properly, if you understand, could imagine things, go back, revise, and especially after like your optional is over classes, if you revise it 2-3 times, and then when you again come back, okay, and after June you do answer writing, it's very well possible. So the good thing is you no need to keep eye all the time on this and that and pata nahi kya kya, what all things happening in international, nothing, it's clear cut. This is even slightest deviation, the question would not be considered to be part of philosophy. ऐसे कभी होगा ही नहीं, ठीक है? It's very clear. We can predict questions literally because that much is the syllabus only. Okay, it assists in GS4 to some extent, ethics, Kant when we study little bit. At least approach is developed and analytical ability is developed, so your answer writing becomes little better. Essay, similar way now. We know every year see, I'm not saying philosophical essay, you have to write philosophical essay only. The title is philosophical, real is rational, rational is real. But at least you know the context, you don't get frightened कि ये क्या, इसका क्या मतलब है. बहुत लोगों को, you know, many people get this problem. They are not able to decode the meaning of this complex statement. That much habit we get in philosophy. All statements are complex only philosophy. So it helps. It helps in interview, as I said, in analytical ability, in critical thinking, and your vocabulary also improves. Because many typical words, okay, we generally don't use in English or even in Sanskrit. We get to, because all the difficult words in English and Sanskrit has come from philosophy only. Okay. Now, helps in building logical analytical, that's we already see. Now, broadly, structure of the paper, very straightforward, no confusing. Paper 1, section A, Western philosophy, section B, Indian philosophy. Like that only will be questions. Question paper 1, I will explain you how. Question 2, socio-political philosophy, that is justice, equality, caste, Marx, like that. Only basic things. And philosophy of religion, God, morality, like that, or religious language, religious experience, mystical experience, like that. Now, paper 1, section A, section B. So, Western philosophy, there will be question 1 and question 2, 3, 4. Indian philosophy, section B, question 5 and question 6, 7, 8. 1 and 5 is compulsory, 5 questions, same like all other optionals. Little bit change here and there, I'm not much aware, but mostly same. So you have to 1 and 5 compulsory questions, 10 markers only. And then all this question 2 is 20, 15, 15. Question 3 is 20, 15, 15. Question 4 is 20, 15, 15. Like set of 3, set of 3, set of 3. Total 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you have to write any 3. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you have to write any 3. But the problem is, at least 1 has to be written from each. समझ में आया? Same is the case here. That we will see later. That's not just giving you as a matter of introducing those things to you. As suddenly if you get to see question paper, you should not be confused. But the most important thing is, we'll study Indian, then Western, then maybe religion, the socio-political or whichever. Indian, there are 9 schools, which you might have also seen during your history preparation also. And plus Aurobindo 10. Like that, but we'll study, that's not a big deal. So this is the structure of paper. Okay, Charvak, Jain, Buddha, Nyaya Vaisheshik, Sankhya Yoga, Mimamsa Vedanta, Arvind. This is syllabus. Now normally Nyaya Vaisheshik, Sankhya Yoga, Mimamsa Vedanta, they are clubbing. So from Nyaya to Vedanta is called Shadadarshan, that is 6 classical philosophies of India. Charvak, Jainism, Buddhism are heterodox, Nastika schools, and Aurobindo is like the same Abhinav Bharat wala Aurobindo. So he later on in Pondicherry, there is this ashram called Auroville ashram, is set up by him. Okay. Later we'll see. Is any word kind of like something that you already aware about or something familiar word? See, theory of knowledge, theory of reality. These are like terms they used. Ultimately is theory of reality only. Okay. Pratyata Samutpadvad, theory of categories, theory of appearance, causation. ये सुना होगा, चित्त, समाधि, कैवल्य, ये तो सुना होगा. ब्रह्म, ईश्वर, आत्मा, जीवा, जगत, माया, अविद्या. सुना होगा ये कहीं ना कहीं. आध्यासा, मोक्ष, अप्रतक सिद्धि, पंचविध भेद, वो टर्म्स है. हर एक का एकदम सिंपल मीनिंग है. इसका एक्चुअली क्या है ना, the problem is it feels as if these are some complex words, but they are not actually. Okay. Evolution, involution, integral yoga and all. Western philosophy, perhaps you might feel it all the more difficult words are used. What is this substance and qualities? Cartesian method, what is mean? Determinism, what it is, the meaning? Possibly synthetic a priori judgment, what is the? It's very easy. It's just that these are new words. Once these words are known to you, and in fact, one of the major tasks, like 30-40% task in the class is to properly understand and internalize those words. Not just understand, internalize. Use it so many times that synthetic a priori judgment, you're like, Oh, that I know. You start having short forms also. Okay, SAJP, जो भी है, synthetic SAPJ. People start writing synthetic prior judgment like that. So much practice you have. Verification theory of meaning, rejection of metaphysics, linguistic theory of necessary propositions. These again, as I said, seems difficult, but they are very straightforward theories. Only few are very tough, but for that we have to put efforts anyway. Socio-political philosophy, equality, justice, then sovereignty, Austin Bodin-Lasky, Kautilya, rights and duties and accountability, monarchy, theocracy, democracy, what's the relation, anarchism, Marxism, socialism, multiculturalism, humanism, okay, development and social progress, corruption, mass violence, genocide, capital punishment, gender discrimination, female foeticide, land property, empowerment, caste discrimination, Gandhi and Ambedkar. Caste discrimination is only clear-cut Gandhi and Ambedkar debate, that's all, nothing else is part of the syllabus. Okay, so no need to worry about caste. Sociology people study class for 3 months, caste for 2-3 months. This thinker so said that thing. Gandhi, what did he say? And how Ambedkar responded to it. That's all. Philosophy of religion is a bit more interesting. Notions of God means, what is notions? Idea, concept, kalpana, imagination, whatever you want, the way you want to call it. So what are different notions of God? What are its attribute, relation to man and the world, Indian and West? You know, the concept of Brahm, the concept of Nirvana, the concept of like that. And half of this paper, the points that you're going to write in the exam, half of that is already covered in paper 1. This will never happen in any other optional. And you will, when you start writing, you will be like, this year's question paper though, straight away the question as it is could have been part of the question paper 1 also. It's as identical as Spinoza's idea of substance as God. That's all. Same is the case in paper 1. So reason, revelation and faith. What is faith? What is reason? From religious point of view. What is this problem of evil? What is immortality, rebirth, liberation? Religion without God, religion without morality, religion and morality, religious pluralism and problem of absolute truth. Okay, and nature of religious language. This we'll see. This little technical. This is only 1 or 2 questions comes. So small part. Like what is the nature of religious language? Is it indicative? Is it inspiring? Is it nature of the language itself? God is great. Okay. God is great means it's a descriptive statement, but it is also inspiring statement that because God is great, you do this XYZ, like that. So this is all about philosophy topic and all that. How we are going to generally go for the thing, we are taking philosophy for 2 things, because we have interest and because we want to get selected. As simple as that. Okay. Now, because we are interested, we already discussed. Marks, see, first you have to understand, very, very important. Now, this understand has to be given specific emphasis when it comes to philosophy. All other optionals also, you have to understand, but here understanding is very, very crucial. It is easy, but crucial. This is the main job of the class. When you listen, you will, and you counter question. When you get the answer, you again question, and then concept is clear. And when the concept is clear, it is very easy to go back and read in the book, because now you know the meaning of each and every word in the particular connotation. This is the biggest problem happen with many students. Like they try for reading themselves, but then problem is, one thing is it's very difficult to understand what is being said. Second is there is a chance of you misunderstanding what it meant. So the basic job of the classroom is this, and without this, the whole cycle will be very, very impossible. Because, like for example, now I ask you some question, and now I again open the syllabus point. So many words you don't even know. So if you don't understand, what would you do about it? Nothing. And books cannot explain things. In fact, whole of Indian philosophical tradition through Gurukulas, it was transferred to debates only. You tell something, you ask question, you tell something, you ask question, the concept is clear. You cannot just write something and ask somebody to read. It's not some novel, no. Just, okay, I read and I understood everything. It doesn't happen like that. That's why understanding is very, very crucial. Then once you understand, you go back and revise. Notes are there. Very limited notes, limited books. You just read, you understand, and revise it 2, 3, 4 times. What happens? Automatically you start remembering the statements as it is, words as it is, terms as it is, phrases as it is. जैसे हम इसको we generally call it mugging up. वो automatically हो जाता है. Then interlinking starts happening. Once you understand it, like what did Spinoza say? What did Shankaracharya say? Now you both understood properly at the philosophical level. Automatically what happens? You start connecting the both. Even if one is Western philosopher, one is Indian. Or you say something like some philosophical part of Shankaracharya, and then you read Buddhism also thoroughly, and you revise it also many times, so you remember also terms. Automatically things start connecting. Okay, Shankaracharya said this is exactly opposite to what Buddhism said. Or Shankaracharya said, Buddha said this is exactly same as what Shankaracharya said. This is very, these two are very important because these are final products that are going to be part of your answer sheet. Interlink and write. Write means writing practice I'm talking about. Then deliberate, then understanding would be better. That happens. This is, see, after write is mostly next June onwards you will do. Once your prelims is over and you are confident that your class, because we will be also having one booster class. So that is for revision, helping you to understand things, helping you to get into the, because you already understood it, revised it, very interlinked to some extent possible, written. So what happens? In June, we also have a booster course, which is part of this same foundation course. No need to take separate admission for that. So we deliberate around 15 to 20 days basically. We try to discuss everything, and then your understanding will be rebuilt, and then you start writing again and again. This especially, as I said, after your prelims next year. Okay, this is a crash revision course. That's how it is going to be, and that's all you have to do is sit in the class, try to understand, ask questions, go back on the same day, try to revise 2-3 times. Every topic is over, every thinker is also over, 1 week, 1.5 weeks. There will be a small test, mini test. You have to answer that. Those questions will be very simple questions, not answer writing questions. I mean, not a question very tough as UPSC is, but at least some practice of answer writing to start off with, basics. And because you write, you start remembering, because the same question is coming so many times, you start remembering. Okay, anyway, here it will be, yes, the same course details. So there will be daily answer writing, mini test, for second test. These are like normal booster course, personalized doubts. That interview is already part of it. 100 lectures, less than 100 it will be over. I'm just keeping 100 in case it goes, but it won't go beyond 100. It will be 98, 95. It depends on how things move. 1, 2, 3 lectures up and down, it happens. 5 days a week. This is basically because 2 days at least needed for your studying. I just don't want to throw things at you, whether you digest it or not. That doesn't work. Otherwise, I can finish it in 3 months. Just every day 4 hours, finish. Doesn't make sense. We are not here to finish, because in philosophy what happens, if you don't understand it at the first place, very difficult, very cumbersome to revise. It's very difficult unless understanding, see in philosophy what happens, unless you understand, there is no interest. It's not vice versa, that because it is interesting I started reading it. No, because it's like classical music. Unless you learn, once you learn, then nobody can stop you. It's not some music, pop music, okay, I liked it, I heard it, but you don't know how to play. So first you understand things, then only you can revise it. And if you revise more, your understanding will be giving you more and more joy. More clarity automatically makes you feel, arey, samajh mein aa gaya. Okay, so that's why 5 days a week. So Saturday, Sunday, you have to fully utilize because that week has to be covered. That day itself, you have to read exactly the same thing. And Saturday, Sunday, you have to revise it again because you have to ready for the next, there will be test in next 2-3 days after Saturday, Sunday. So you should be ready for that also. Right? Test also mostly, test discussions, every test will be followed by discussion in the class itself. So that we can manage, that's not an issue. Okay, 4 sectional test. And this booster course I was talking about, which has been going now also, before this class 8 to 10, that booster class was going on. That is for those who are appearing for the mains this time. So that is part of the course, your course. Okay. And interview mentorship, anyway, that is natural, because anyway I only look after interview mentorship program here, so it becomes automatic. Those who are my student, they are automatically given benefits. Okay, what is the meaning of this particular quote? Can anybody? Now we have discussed so much of it. What is the meaning? That much holistic approach than the rest of the people, so they know why the everything is going on and what is needed on that level, like on the state level or on the national level. Good, closer to it. See, it is like complex, old English. That's why it sounds like this. Okay, somebody has, Mukesh has written something, maybe because philosophers have more clarity of knowledge. That's why, yes, correct. See, closer, Marla. See, the point is, and I'll tell you how it is relevant to us also. Until philosophers are kings. Now, kings means people at powerful positions. That time it is king, this time it is either politicians or administrators. Or the kings, that is administrators or politicians, have the spirit and power of philosophy, like, critical thinking, logical stamina, analytical ability, broader picture, already discussed. Unless that happens, cities will never have rest from their evil. Evils means problems, negatives. Evil is a negative term. Shaitan, basically evil means shaitan. So basically what they are saying is, people in the powerful positions, either they are philosophers themselves or somebody who has the broadest possible views. Philosopher, you already discussed what philosopher is. Or though people sitting there, whoever they are, they have some spirit and understanding and inclination of philosophy. Until that happens, cities means societies, nations, whatever is the situation, because that time it is city state, no, Athens, Greek, they will never rest from problems. So basically, and now we are also going to be administrators, so better to have proper broader view before becoming administrator. And it will be good for you also, good for them also. And this is in sync with Indian culture. If there is Chandragupta Maurya, there is Chanakya. If there are people who are kings, there is somebody behind who is a philosopher, some sannyasi, somebody, right? Almost all bigger kings, there is somebody behind, right? So that's how the context of philosophy is. So philosophy has to be seen from this perspective, where everything is questioned and everything is to be tried to be answered in such a way that it gives bigger picture, broader picture, clearer picture, right? Understood now? So that's all from my side. So first lecture will be on Thursday now. There is another 2 days. So first lecture will start on 22nd, same time, 11 a.m. If you have any doubt, please ask. Even the online folks, because it's delayed there, so we'll wait for them if they have some question. Yes. We'll wait for 3-4 minutes because, as I said, online people need more time because there is a lag of some 4-5 seconds. But if you have some question about the course, about philosophy, about anything also, you can ask. Yes. We can question, yes. Okay. Just one question. Somebody asked, sir, about books and reference material. Yes, okay, I'll talk about that also after your question. And somebody has asked, do we need reference material or class would be sufficient? So, no, class, we would be giving notes you, thorough notes. And there would be some books, hardly 4 books are there, which are actually worth reading in the sense they are condensed. Otherwise, there are books, but here and there, the matter is spread along a lot. It's difficult to collect them. So regarding books, I'll just talk about books first. So regarding books, see, there are clear-cut books for when it comes to Indian philosophy. There is this one book is called Introduction to Indian Philosophy by Datta and Chatterjee. This is kind of a must book. Very simple. Even some of the students who contacted me before, I had already asked them to read without waiting for the class because it's straightforward. Though there would be something that you may not understand now. Second, there is this book called C.D. Sharma, Critical Study of Indian Philosophy. For Indian, this is more than sufficient, and that too, you are required to read only when in the class I asked you to read particularly, otherwise notes are more than enough, right? But if you have a little more interest, if you want to, on the same day you want to go back and read, it helps. You have to read it only once or twice, that's all. Refer that too. These are reference books, not even reading books. Refer, you just go refer and come back. And then you have your own, the notes that is provided here, and if you have your own notes, because you revise many times. Like that, Western philosophy. There is this book called Why Massey. Okay, the book name itself is Western philosophy. Western philosophy by Y. Massey. He is also Indian person. Y. Massey is also Indian only. But here only from Plato to Hegel will be covered. Half of the syllabus. Rest of the syllabus just refer to the notes because there is no single book which has everything properly. There are books here and there, there is this Frank Tilly, but you have to keep searching. This is such a big book. Okay, then what is this other book name? I just forgot because you have to just visit it 2-3 times. That's all, and that too it will be part of the notes. See, if you properly listened in the class and understand, notes will be very easy for you to understand. That is next. That is socio-political philosophy. Paper 2 now. This is paper 1, right? Now paper 2. Number 1 is O.P. Gauba. He is also Indian, but don't get confused. He has written 3 books of that kind. Socio-political, socio-political philosophy is the book that we should go for. Philosophy word should be there. Otherwise, there is the other book that is social and political theory. That is for political science. Ours, and that is good thing is he has written book as per our syllabus, barring some 10-20% here and there that we can manage. Major stuff is everything is there. Again, socio-political philosophy word has to be there. That book only you have to take buy, otherwise you'll go for some other book. Because this mistake have already been done by some students in previous batches. They got socio-political theory, political theory. That is not part of our syllabus, that is for political science. And philosophy of religion, again the same person, thank God to him, Y. Massey, wrote the book on philosophy of religion. Same name. Philosophy of religion, I think critical study of religion, whatever would be the name, but it's famous. That book is also around 70 to 80% all the syllabus in one place. The rest notes are more than enough, right? Because there are some Western philosophers that he might not have, he has not given. And another thing, this book you have to read very selectively. This I am talking about philosophy of religion. This book you have to read almost like first cover to cover. It's mainly made for UPSC syllabus. Same is this case with this book, cover to cover. एक statement भी उसमें से नहीं छोड़ने की जरूरत है. This book you have to be little selective because these two books, they are like bigger books and it has a lot of things that are not needed. You'll understand while we are studying in the classes. This Y. Massey also till Plato to Hegel. Okay, syllabus points, little bit selective approach has to be needed, but almost like would be there. Yes, do we need to refer to IGNOU material? See, you no need to refer to IGNOU material, but if you refer, it's okay because whatever written in IGNOU is from these books only. Okay, and IGNOU notes will be already accommodated in our notes because we also read IGNOU notes during our preparation also, later while making our notes. So that will be already part. Okay, see, in philosophy, more you revisit the topic is better than getting into the one topic and going too much into depth, because we are not going for MA philosophy or PhD philosophy at all. Our aim is clear. Basic understanding of philosophy should be there, and you should be aware about all the concepts that philosopher has talked about, and that's all. Okay, so I'm not saying IGNOU material is really good, but again, you know, that is already accommodated there, so why to visit? And IGNOU material, if you want, it's available. I can also give all the PDFs up there. You can get it printed and do it. Okay. Yes, and as I said, notes are already almost exhaustive. So if you read notes, you will realize that it's more there in the book, notes in the books as compared to the, not on the basis of pages, but the stuff that is included. Because sometimes we read something from the Stanford website, Encyclopedia of Philosophy website, only that much aspect. Because if you keep reading everything, then what's the point of joining the course? Then you spend 6 months on searching. We have searched and inserted that much only. So no need to go for that. Okay. Now back to your question. See, the point is, Indian philosophy, one thing is, it is not limited by intellectual understanding. So they clearly say, we are not asking you to believe this. Logically, it is true. It is logically very much true, and it also answers to the natural inclination that you have for bigger things. You know, natural inclination for religion and God. Everybody has natural inclination for religion and God. But they are giving you most logical answer as to, if when you are in dream, when you are thinking that it is true, once you wake up from the dream, you disown it. In the same way, logically, this is also dream. If you, and you will not understand. Point is, you have to assume, for time being, you have to keep faith, or keep faith in either the Shankaracharya or the logic. But once you awaken yourself, only you will realize, "Arey, ye to gadbad tha." And by the way, another proof for this is, almost like you ask proof, right? There have been so many examples of personalities who did this. Especially in India, there have been so many realized beings. So many people who left everything. How can somebody leave everything? It's not easy. See, the point is we have been listening these things, so we are like taking it granted. हाँ बुद्धा तो छोड़ेंगे ना घर. वो तो सन्यासी आदमी था. वो before that he was a normal human being. Can you even think of yourself as sannyasi? And then you try to imagine how difficult it would have been, or how strong the other side would have been to make him do it. I'm not saying difficult as in hard. It would have been easy, but that is only because the other side is so clear to him. And so many examples we have, right? Realized beings. Not just Buddha, we have Mahavir, Guru Nanak. Everybody is realized in some or the other way. The leaders of Bhakti movement, Tukaram, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everybody is a realized being. They left everything. So there are examples, there is logic, and clearly there is this question in you, which this is answer. This is a natural question कि भाई इसके beyond क्या? मैं हूँ अभी तक जिया, मैंने ऐसे किया, ये किया, वो किया. I have been doing this, I have been doing that. I have father, mother, ये वो, family, everything. But when I will die, what will happen to everything? Will everything collapse? Okay. So Charvaka says, Bhasmibhutasya dehasya punaragman kutaha. Charvaka says, there is no, where is the punaragman? There is no punaragman. Once Bhasmibhut, it's all gone. Whereas Gita says, Nainan chiddanti shastrani naidan dahati pavaka, means it cannot be, cut into pieces by any weapon. It cannot be burned. It cannot be moistened. Nashoshruti maruta, means it is amar. And just changing of clothes from one to the other. Changing of role from this to that. So which to believe? So whichever is logically, either of the two is true. Either there is life after death or there is no life after death. That's exactly the debate from others, from other thinkers we are going to look into and discuss. Right? Anything else? Yes.
How to speak to the exam point of view? Like you previously said that
yes.
the student of philosophy try to make their own philosophies and they really depend on what is actually needed for the exam. So how to stick to the exam point of view only?
See, best way to stick to exam point of view is start answer writing as early as possible. Because the moment you get into answer writing, you're like, ये जो मैं इतना सोच रहा था इसका कोई मतलब नहीं, जो लिखना है, the whatever is required to be written here is something else, right? So, and that we will be doing on the daily basis in the class. Daily there will be answer writing, barring first 3-4 classes once you are aware about, because otherwise what topic you will write answers. But at least 3-4 questions per week out of 5 lectures. The first thing you come into the class, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, you will write answer, and then only class starts. So it happens like, I'm not able to write anything, sir. That's okay. That shock is required in very beginning so that you improve. But slowly, Indian philosophy is not very difficult to write. You write something, and questions will be mostly on the basis of what has been taught in the class, not just notes. Only specific to whatever taught in the class. That much only you can remember. So, and then after immediately one thinker is over, there will be mini test or 2 thinkers. That test will be proper around 100 to 80 to 100 marks. So once you get into answer writing, it's very difficult to get diverged. Don't stop yourself while practicing thinking. Then you think, no, as he asked question, no, this can be wrong, this can be right. Ask yourself this question, try to get answers. But when you sit into the sit for the writing and answer writing, then automatically the regulation happens. Automatically happens. It's like you no need to do anything. Just try for answers. You are like, oh no, I'm unnecessarily wasting my time. Let's come back. So it's easy, because sometimes you have to waste time to think, because then only you understand the philosophy. But when it comes to writing it, it is straightforward. Will there be a provision of Telegram? Will there be a provision of Telegram or WhatsApp group only for your students of this batch? Yes, there will be WhatsApp group for only this batch, because where you can drop your answers. Like when you write, you click photo and send it to me. I have to evaluate. No, otherwise you will write anything initially. or if some message has to be sent, so there will be group, don't worry. Once I'll ask administration to make a group, WhatsApp group basically, and those who are not on WhatsApp, prior only, initially only let us know, we'll do something about it, like maybe on the Telegram separate, every time they will inform you separately. If there is some problem in the class is half an hour delayed or cancelled, or 2 classes or extra classes, something like that, so there will be communication, this thing. And the same place would be the place where you, any doubt you have, suddenly you feel something, sir, I am reading this, I am not able to understand this, what is the meaning? Just drop a message. Maybe I am not the, I have not seen the message, but somebody else will immediately respond, array, this is the meaning. So that debate starts, again good. It's good for this thing. So we'll have the group, that's not an issue. Okay, anything else? Okay, chaliye then, thank you very much for your time and patience, and see you on Thursday 11 a.m. those who are joining. Even if those who want to still kind of sit in the class, maybe they can continue for 2-3 days also. There are some people who are like, sir, I want to sit for 2-3 class before directly enrolling in it. It's okay, you can sit for 2-3 class, that's not an issue. As long as if philosophy is the thing, if you like it only, you will go ahead. As simple as that. Okay, thank you very much then. Bye bye.